Actually had to call 2 dealerships. They do not sell these hinges as a set. I had to get the left side here from, I believe, Indiana, and luckily that dealership was nice enough to mail it to me. And then I had to get this one all the way from Oklahoma. I'd say that if I had to call that far for these parts, that these parts are becoming extremely hard to find. So the hinges back here, it's just honestly like a big nut, and what you'll have to do, or at least what I had to do, is get a pair of channel locks and get a good grip on it, and then take the bolts out. It looked like they had some type of double-sided tape or something holding these on, just enough to where they could probably just torque it down within the factory. However, over the years, given the fact that this is the 03 tailgate, we are now looking at 18 years old, so that had become quite disintegrated. So you can take a pair of channel locks and remove those. Probably not the best way, but it does work. Now what I did to every one of the bolts is I oiled them before I put this back together. If you are taking this apart, I would highly recommend you do that. These were pretty rusty whenever I initially took this apart, so what I did is I sanded them down, hit them with the wire wheel really well, and primed them and sprayed them with truck bed liner, ran a tap through it, and they turned out pretty good. And what we'll do is we'll actually put some more lube on there just to be safe before we send this one. This tailgate will actually be going to Connecticut. So definitely want to make sure that all the metal is coated extremely well. So you can just set that in there. Got a little bit of dirt on there. So what we'll do is we'll put these back together. So, do have a part number here for you, and I'll read it and then I'll see if I can't get the camera to zoom in on it. The part number for the left side hinge is 15757891. These are different than your normal ones. Like I said, it's a lot more flat on the bottom. Kind of has a funky curve to it. So we'll set that to the side, and we'll take care of our other one over here. Luckily, GM was pretty good about the hardware when it came to this. Almost all the bolts holding all the tailgates together were 13 mil, and that definitely seems to be very handy. I know I do a lot of these tailgates, not the Protec, but the normal steel. And when it comes to parts or having, you know, any type of hardware, they're all 13 mil. About the only thing that's different is sometimes the washers in between them. And I know for the handle, they usually tend to run a little bit bigger, but as far as your hinges go, it just looks like a normal washer. So we'll put those together. And part number for the right side hinge is going to be 15757890. What we'll do next is we'll go ahead and get this handle out, and I wanted to get a zoom in on these guys. These clips actually just spin within this, and then they just kind of pop on here. So what we'll do is we'll just push that, you scoot that over, comes right out. Again, this side, push on it. Folds right over. Slides out. Beautiful design. However, I know these pins are definitely, they're always breaking. It's plastic. They become brittle after the years. It's a pretty cheap fix. I think that you can get a set of them online for maybe $4. So if you wanted to take those out, say you had a broken one, you would just squeeze here on the back and push through. We'll set that out of our way. So next, the only thing is our latches here on the side. Now this again is different than your normal tailgate. This bracket you will not find within a normal tailgate. Normally these nuts, or backing nuts, however you want to say it, are actually welded to the tailgate. However, in this case, couldn't be done, again, because of the plastic. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 13 mil. You got a 13 mil here and a 13 mil there, and we're going to remove those. Trying to go in depth as much as I can. I know that I had said in the beginning of the video that there were two things that I was missing. The clips and then the two bolts that go right here, but there is one other thing that I wanted to point out. Unfortunately, I thought that this would be like a normal tailgate and have the normal latch, and what it has is just like a little round foam piece that goes right here. However, that was not the case. It actually had like a big block piece of foam. I did throw those away. I'm kind of wishing I didn't, just for the purposes of this video. However, I believe that they were glued somewhere in the vicinity of here, and this bar would actually go through it. Again, I don't have that. However, that's not a huge hurdle in taking these apart. Shouldn't be too much of a problem to just take this latch out and slide that rod all the way through. One thing that I do want to point out as well is that on these latches, the bottom bolt will a lot of times have like a push pin on it, or a push nut, I should say, and it will not allow the bolt to actually be separated from the latch due to the fact that your drop down cable is there. So here's what was holding on your latch. These were pretty rusty as well. What I was able to do was sand them down, take the wire wheel to them, spray them with primer, and then spray them with truck bed liner. Turned out pretty good, if you ask me. Shouldn't have to worry about rust again, but just to be safe, we're going to oil that back down, and that should keep all the moisture off of it. And pull this out. Like I said, there would normally be a piece of foam right here, but here is your latch. This is the bolt that can come out, the one here on the top. However, the one on the bottom will have a push nut on the back. Will not allow that bolt to come out, given the fact that it connects to your drop down cable. You can take them off. I mean, you get you a flathead screwdriver on there, you can pull them off, say these are too rusted for you, and you don't really have to worry about putting that back. Maybe put a washer, because I know that if you get these too tight, that it will not actually spin freely. So we'll do the other side. One thing that you do want to make sure is that this is functioning properly, your actual locking mechanism. So what you can do is actually push that in, and to make sure that it's working, you should be able to pull up, and you hear that click. That's how you know it's working properly. Try to get inside there, see if you can't see. Might have to do it in another video. Like I said, these latches are the same as your normal steel beds. The only thing that's different is just this connecting rod. It is shorter, and it does have a bend there. Kind of see there in the grass, and as you go across, it also has a bend there towards the handle. And you've got this bracket. Let's say you take these apart and you're confused on to which way they should go. It will not fit. go ahead and take this out. It will not fit the other way. The bolts will not go in, so kind of a no-brainer when it comes to reassembling this. So again, these kind of like the backing nuts on this side. This also had like some form of a double-sided tape to it. Disintegrated over the years. So what I did is you really don't have to have that double-sided tape. I figured that was probably put there just, hey, when it was going down the assembly line, the next guy didn't have to sit here and reach in and try to feel that. So you really don't have to have those. You've got two bolts holding it together and you should be good. But that right there concludes the complete disassembly of a Protec tailgate. Go ahead and give you guys another walk around here. Like I said, pretty interesting piece. It actually had a piece of steel, or possibly aluminum, here on the top. And I guess that was just say, hey, you go to throw a 2x4 in there or something heavy. You didn't have to worry about your fiberglass cracking. You can see that the corners sometimes get a little bit of wear. But very cool piece. Like I said, it's all fiberglass under here. You can start to see some of the strands start to come through. I don't know if you can truck bed line that or not. I don't know if Line X would back that up. Definitely wash these things out. Any type of mud. You can see kind of down in those cracks, you could definitely get some mud in there and then start rusting your internal hardware, which is the only thing that can rust on these. So that's probably why I had such a hard time with those. Just trying to give you guys a very in-depth video. These are the hooks that your faceplate would hook into. I'm just kind of, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 clips going down the side. And I think that concludes the disassembly of this tailgate. We'll start working on the reassembly in my next video, part 2.